Hey, I'm Adam Jusko from ProudMoney.com, and in this video we are going to review the new revamped GM credit card. Before we do that, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So within the last year, the GM credit card portfolio has transitioned from Capital One being the backing bank to Goldman Sachs being the backing bank, and in that transition, the card itself has been changed in terms of the rewards and benefits that it offers. So we're going to take a look at what the new card is offering. Now, the short story here is probably going to be pretty much the same as it has been in the past. If you are someone that has a GM vehicle already, or you are thinking of getting a GM vehicle, well then you are probably going to be the person most interested in this card. Otherwise, you're probably going to find it less interesting, although there is a stealth gas reward piece to this card that maybe could draw a few people in, even if you don't care about GM. The new card is called the MyGM Rewards card. There's a MyGM Rewards program that has 3 different tiers, but that is almost irrelevant here because if you get the card, you are put into the gold tier, and the gold tier gives you almost every single thing that you might want out of the GM Rewards program. The MyGM Rewards card is a no annual fee MasterCard that gives you your rewards using the following formula. You get 7 points per dollar on GM purchases, which includes things like GM service, GM parts or AC Delco parts, services like OnStar if you pay for that kind of subscription, and whatever else might fall under that umbrella. All of your other purchases are going to get you 4 points per dollar. Now, in most cases, when you redeem those points, they're going to be worth a penny per point, which means you could think of that 7 points per dollar as being a 7% reward, and that 4 points per dollar as being a 4% reward, which is really nice, except for the fact that you have to decide if the things you can actually redeem those points for are things that you want. Now, there is a bonus opportunity on this card of 10,000 points if you spend $1,000 with the card in the first 90 days of having it. Now, there are a number of other credits and benefits to talk about with this card, but before we go any further, we should talk about the redemption options because those are obviously going to be a crucial factor. You have a number of redemption options. The one that GM undoubtedly would like you to use the most is using your points toward the purchase or lease of a new GM vehicle. If you do that, you can use an unlimited number of points. So conceivably, if you really racked up some charges on the card and got 2 million points or something, you could even outright get yourself a new Chevy or GMC or Buick or Cadillac vehicle. For most people, you're probably going to save up your points and make a dent in that purchase price, and your points will not expire, so you could hold them for a long time before you actually go and make that car purchase. So that is option number 1. Option number 2, you can use up to 100,000 points in a year toward the purchase of a certified pre-owned GM vehicle. So that would knock, essentially, if you use the whole 100,000 points, that would knock $1,000 off the purchase price of that. You also could use up to 25,000 points or $250 toward GM service, GM or AC Delco parts. You have the OnStar service. You've got Sirius XM also as a way you could use them. So on a card like this, where you're getting 7x on GM purchases and 4 points per dollar on everything else, maybe if you were at a certain level of spending every year, getting $250 toward those GM parts and service, well then that might actually be a good use of this card. So if you actually already had a GM vehicle, that would be another reason that you might consider this card. Now, finally, you can use your points toward gift cards, and that might sound really good when you, again, think of that 7 points per dollar or that 4 points per dollar, because those are really nice earning ratios. However, when you use your points toward gift cards, instead of getting that 1 point per dollar ratio, you instead are only going to get 1/4 point per dollar. So in order to get $250 worth of gift cards, you would actually have to spend 100,000 points. So it doesn't look so good once you know it that way. Now, another potential bonus on this card that could be attractive is you could earn a $100 statement credit if you do one or the other of 2 things. Number 1, if you spend over $1,500 during the year on fuel from gas stations, you would get that $100 statement credit. Or if you have a GM electric vehicle, you could, as long as you use the card to pay for your electric bills for at least 6 months out of that year, you would also get the $100 statement credit that way. Now I'm going to focus on that gas credit for a second, because $100 statement credit on $1,500 worth of purchases, well, In that case, that's about almost a 7% reward on your gas purchases. Even if you spend up to $2,000, you could still think of that as being at least a 5% reward. Now, if you went way over that, well, then that reward's going to get smaller in terms of the percentages. But if you're someone that, wanted a gas credit card, that is a statement credit. It is not something that you have to use toward GM vehicles or anything else. So that's just going to show up on your credit card statement to cut down on your bill. So that's actually a nice reward. Now, would I get this card just for that? I don't know, but it might be something to consider. Another possible benefit, you can get up to a $50 credit, or what they are calling an allowance, when you have detailing done on your vehicle at a GM service department. Just a little aside here, for most of my adult life, I thought that detailing meant that they were doing something extra to your car, like putting flames on the side or, some kind of thing where they were jazzing it up. But in reality, detailing means they clean it, they polish it, they make it as good as new, or at least as close to as good as new as possible. Card designs. If you've got brand loyalty, you could choose to have the Chevy logo, the GMC logo, the Cadillac logo, maybe even the Buick logo on your card. You also could choose the standard GM logo. Now, GM changed their logo not too long ago, and I saw a lot of people bash it at the time when they did the redesign, but I really like it. I might actually choose that GM logo if it were me. All right, rates, fees, other things to know. Like I said earlier, no annual fee. You have a 0% interest rate on this card for new purchases for the first 9 months you have it. And then after that, you are going to have an interest rate that could be anywhere from 14.99% to 24.99% as I make this video. Depending on your credit history, they will choose based on your credit history which of those rates you are going to get, or somewhere in the middle. This card has no foreign transaction fees, which is a nice thing for a no annual fee card. This card is a World Elite MasterCard, which, depending on the card company, can give you either a whole lot of benefits or just kind of some good benefits. This one is in the kind of some good benefits. There are some discounts on things like DoorDash, ShopRunner, Fandango. You've got some concierge services and some other stuff with this card. I don't know that it's any deciding factor in terms of actually getting the card, though. All right, let's talk applications and approvals. Goldman Sachs, the new issuer behind the GM credit card. Goldman Sachs, also the issuer behind the Apple credit card. And when the Apple card came out a couple years ago, Goldman Sachs did something that was kind of revolutionary. They said, if you apply for this card and we are not going to approve you, we're going to tell you you're not going to be approved, and we're not going to do a hard inquiry, also known as a hard pull, on your credit report, and it won't hurt your credit score. Now, if you are approved for the card, we will do that hard inquiry, and it will show up on your credit report, and it will temporarily ding your credit score. But at that point, you wanted the card, you got the card, and that's kind of how it works. But if you are rejected, you're not going to have a negative mark on your credit report. Same thing with the GM card. They will let you know if you are going to be approved, and if you're not going to be approved, then you're not going to get that hard pull on your credit report. For a lot of people, this isn't going to matter one way or the other. But if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of credit history, or maybe you have had some credit problems in the past and you've been clawing your way back up to a better credit score, well, then this is something that could matter to you. And I think even regardless of anything, these days people are paying more attention to their credit scores than they used to, and they know more about the credit scoring game than they used to. So this is kind of something that I am hoping is going to show up on more credit cards over time. Oh, and also, if you are approved, you will be able to use the card immediately, so you could have instant approval and same-day use of the card through the Marcus by Goldman Sachs app. You can add it to your favorite mobile wallet and use it while you are waiting for the physical card to get to you. So that is it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are not a current GM owner or an aspirational GM owner, well, then the card's not going to be all that attractive to you. However, if you are okay with those GM redemptions, then you have good earning potential here, especially that 4 points per dollar on all the purchases that you make with this card. And then, of course, the 7 points per dollar on your GM purchases. You also have that $100 statement credit potentially on gas purchases, or if by chance you have a GM electric electric vehicle. So I can see why you might want this card if you were already in the GM family or if you wanted to be in it. Otherwise, the only thing, like I said earlier, maybe if you were willing to get this card just to try to get that $100 statement credit and your gas purchases kind of fit right in there around that $1,500 minimum, maybe that would make sense. But for most people, you are going to want to have some sort of GM loyalty to consider getting this card. Now, if you're not all into this card, or maybe even if you are, there are a lot of other good cards on the market, and I have talked about almost every single good card out there in this video.